Hey, everybody. Welcome to the nation. I'm JT, along with Leanne Whippen, Hall of Famer, I might add, and coming to you from our respective Turn It, Don't Burn It studios. We would like to thank the folks at Painted Hills Natural Beef, beef the way nature intended. Don't forget, if you go to their website from now till the end of the year, and if you place an order, there'll be a little thing on the bottom left of your screen that says code or coupon. Just type in BBQ Nation and you get 15% off. So there you go. As you know, the Jack just ended a very short time ago. Ms. Whippen was one of the judges there. And now we are very fortunate to have Ercole Chila from Uncle Pig's Barbecue, who was the grand champion at the Jack, with us today. Yay!
Congratulations. Probably heard it a
Thank you
million
very much.
times.
Quite a few times so far.
Yeah, you deserve it.
They've already had him on Fox News in the morning nationally. So
That's awesome.
I think that's very cool. So, Ercole,
That was actually our second stint there.
You say what? I'm sorry?
That was our second time there.
Oh, good. Good.
That's
First
great.
time was when we did the state champ in New Jersey.
Great.
Did you know that
Brought us back for that. So it was pretty cool.
Did you know that Leanne is a Jersey girl too?
I am.
Yes, I do. I do know that.
Oh, good.
Well, good. Good. So
I like New Jersey.
You were second in pork, first in the ribs, fifth in the brisket, ninth in the dessert, and fifth in chef's choice. That's a lot of calls.
Yeah, it was busy.
It was busy.
It's a lot of money.
It's pretty cool.
Was that your best? I mean, I know you won grand champion and all that, but
that too.
At any event, was that your best placings in the group like that? I mean, those are some pretty high marks with the competition you had.
No, we did a little bit better. I think it was Wise or Galax in Virginia. We had 3 first place calls and a third place chicken, and one 180. So yeah,
Wow.
that was our highest finishes. But this was the most important one.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's really good. Now, you'd been there. Gosh, excuse me. The weather's changing up here, so is my voice. You'd competed at the Jack what 5 times prior?
4. This is my 4th time.
Okay.
Total 4.
And when you went this time, did you have any, gut feeling or anything like that this was going to be the one?
Well, I started like 4 or 5 weeks prior to going to the Jack when I started making arrangements and changes to try to do the cook for the Jack. And I was tweaking and I told my wife, I said, if we don't win, it won't be because of the food. That's what we really focused on, making it tender and getting it, a good taste out of it. I thought we would have a chance. I mean, just like I guess everybody would think they have a chance at these things. But when it starts happening, you're like, what the hell's just happening? I can't believe this is happening right now.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it's all good. You didn't start your career in barbecue though, did you, Ercole?
No, I own a gas station repair shop. I still do that. The barbecue's a part-time deal.
But don't you
have to support? He has to support his habit.
I get it.
That's the water that floats on my boats. The gas station.
What have you learned? I'm starting with some basic questions here. We'll get more in depth as we go along in the show. But what have you learned over the last 5 trips? This being your 4th or 5th trip to Lynchburg. I mean, each time, even if you didn't win, it's got to be a big learning experience.
Well, it's I guess the first time we did well too. We came in, and then the next time I think it was and the last time was 58th. So I learned to be have my expectations not be super high all the time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes even though your food's good to you, it just doesn't really hit judges all the time. So I guess patience and being hard headed and quitting.
You got to watch those judges though. They're a slippery lot. I can tell you
I think
that.
we're froze.
Well, obviously, we did an excellent job this time as far as he's concerned.
It's all good.
You did a great. If I was on your table, you did a great job.
Well, thank you so much. If I was, I don't know.
So I'll tell you how you can figure it out. What dessert did you make?
That's not going to tell him why he got GC, but I'm curious at what he made for. Yeah, go ahead. What'd you make for dessert?
We're not hearing you.
Do we lose him?
I don't think so. Ercole? That picture's good. He's smiling. It looks good.
Yeah, but he's not moving.
Yeah.
Oh, now I know we got a problem. He's gone.
He's gonna sign back in. Well, we'll just pause for a second.
The reception's really bad.
Yeah. That's one of the problems with wireless doing this stuff, as we found out at Byron's.
Mm-hmm.
That was brutal. I try not to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. He's coming back.
He's probably getting his wife.
You have no service in here. You have more like
Yeah.
sitting in the kitchen.
What happened?
You have
No
like no
ser-
service in here. You have
There you go.
sitting in the kitchen.
He's going to the
It's gonna
kitchen
be
now.
hard-
See, I can't hear what you're saying.
It's going to be hard for you to get service in here. The Wi-Fi box is all the way at the other
All
side.
right, so we're gonna take another step. We're gonna
okay.
pull another.
All right.
We're gonna walk around again.
We're getting a full tour this evening. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Listen. Okay, now we're going upstairs.
Where are you going?
All right, so now we're gonna stay right here. If it's any better, is it any better?
Yeah.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll just stay right here for now.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay. Matter of fact, I'll make one step further. I'll go even closer.
Felt like I was in a Halloween movie there for a minute.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you just Michael Myers that popped out on us.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got to tell you something funny. I woke up this morning and out on the street, you've been here, Leanne, out on the street where you and John would pull in every morning.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Halloween creature out there this morning, not ours, but I think somebody had stole it out of somebody's front yard and got tired of carrying it. So they parked it right between us and the neighbors.
That's funny. Are you sure it wasn't the wind that like carried it away? Or
Oh, no,
something?
this is too heavy. This was on a
Oh.
stand. Guy had a pumpkin head, these creepy hands, green eyes, nasty teeth. It was a plastic pumpkin, but it's on a metal stand like you'd find in a department store.
Wow.
So,
What'd you do with it?
oh, it's still out there.
Oh, cool.
I figured I'd leave it for a couple days. Maybe somebody
Well,
would drive by
whoever
and
got
say,
it part way is probably coming back to finish the job. So
yeah, well, maybe so. All right. Let me hit go again here. Here we go. So, Ercole, what kind of dessert did you make? Leanne's a big dessert fan. So,
I am.
We made a pumpkin cheesecake with a pumpkin caramel drizzle. We actually made pumpkin chocolate. We cooked it and we cooked it and we made it. We put it in the refrigerator. Got it like for little chocolate pieces on top of it. It was pretty cool.
I did not have that, but it sounds delicious and it sounds like something you can have for the holidays coming up.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty good. It was really good.
Yeah.
So what separates your, I'll just say your ribs from somebody else's? What are your thoughts on that?
when we actually go for, we pushed it to the very verge of over tender, right to the edge. So sometimes we getting ourselves in a pickle by going a little too tender, but 80% of the time where we cook them at, where we get them done at, is pretty good for the judges. Like
And
them at the ones at the Jack were right on the verge of being over.
what did you
Funny you
use?
should say that. When you're taking the class on how to judge, and get certified by KCBS, they tell you that you should take a bite in the rib and it should not fall off the bone, and you should see the little moisture bubbles on the bone. And they say that's the perfect bite. But I remember going to a contest and I was doing a video right before, and I said, you don't want to have your ribs like this. And they were overcooked, in my opinion. And I did the same thing for turn-ins, and I ended up winning first. And I was kind of blown away by that, because the judges are taught one thing, and then I knew they were overcooked, and I was like, I don't have a chance. And then I took a first, and I was like, whoa. So I kind of agree with what you're saying. It might be a little bit of a crapshoot, but people like them really tender.
Ercole, you there?
He's moving a little bit.
I can hear him.
So
Yeah.
For what I've realized the most, I don't know, we've been to a lot of podcasts, this has never happened. I don't know why this is going on right now. Are you there now?
Yeah. we're
Yeah,
here.
we hear you.
Okay. I forgot what I was saying now.
About the ribs. We're talking about overcooking the ribs, or just bring them to full tenderness, kind of.
Yeah. Okay. So what I realized, ribs or any addition, like for me, that's why I push them farther.
Does that include your
Nope.
your taste profile? Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, it does make it to me. It does make it taste not completely over. Like when my ribs, they won't fall off the bone. They were close. I mean, they were close.
Mm-hmm.
But you could still bite both sides and still have a piece left in the middle.
Good.
They were still there like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just FYI for you, Ercole, it tells me, because I get the readings on this. It says your bandwidth is really low. Is somebody else streaming something in the house?
Not that I know
Okay.
of.
Okay.
No, it's just me.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. It just says your bandwidth is low, and it does that sometimes.
I'll make one more step. I'm
gonna try it some more.
We're gonna walk. Make one more walk.
Okay.
Okay.
Try some more. I never had to do this before. All right. So, this is my daughter's room. So this is where the internet box is at. So this is where we're gonna use. We're gonna try here.
Okay.
Is that any better?
Yeah, seems to be.
Well, it seems to be. Yeah.
Right,
So
Oh, there's your daughter. Hi, daughter.
She's in a full press bed fixing mode now. She's like, "Oh my God, you put people in my room."
That's
yeah,
right.
my daughter used to be that way too. Okay, so when you we were talking about the ribs and the flavor profile a little bit, is there anything special you use in the flavor profile?
Not really. I mean, I use a slurry. I make a slurry up for like everybody else throws brown sugar on there and maple syrup and stuff. I make a slurry up that I use on it instead of having to put everything individually on it. I make a whole batch of stuff up.
Yeah.
And I use a squirt bottle. That's probably the only thing different I would do. I mean, other than the rubs and stuff, I don't know what everybody else is using, but I use commercial rubs.
Yeah. You ever try pig powder?
Yes, I do have that.
Oh, good. Glad
your dad's stuff.
That's
yep,
right.
I do have your dad's stuff. I do have one bottle in my trailer all the time.
See, there you go.
Sorry, it's a winning combination. What can I tell you?
It's proof. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. So let's talk about like your pork. anything special about that?
Right on the verge of over tender.
Yeah.
Right on
There you
that's
go.
also on the verge of over tender. But I mean, I really take a lot of pride into my box. I do like rows of money muscle on an angle, and then I put chunks in the middle, and then I have pulled somewhere else. I mean, the box is heavy and it's full, and it's it looks really good. But still on that particular day, I did get even though I had a 180 in ribs, I had an 8 for appearance in one, and I had 2 or 3 8s for appearance in pork. I had 3 8s for appearance in brisket. It was just that appearance score really gets me. that's
Yeah.
that's the thing that gets me the most.
Do you what do you use for your garnish, for your greens? You use
I use kale.
Oh, another kale
Mhm.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I like parsley looks better, and I seem to be able to do that faster. But when I get done with the kale box, I spray it with Pam so it doesn't stick on to the food doesn't stick on it and it looks really shiny. So I've been using that for the last couple of years.
See, I made the comment. I was there. Of course, Leanne was there. And when I was walking around on Friday, I ran into some guys from Texas, and they must have had 4 or 5 cases of kale. And they were very methodically. There was 4 of them sitting at the table, pulling it apart, kind of measuring it, putting it in boxes and doing all that. My comment was finally somebody found a good use for kale.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, it was tough. Does your wife go with you?
Sometimes, once in a while, she went with us to the Jack, and there are a couple other Wildwood. She went with us. My kids and all. They play a lot of softball. They travel a lot for softball.
Yeah.
I have twin girls, and I have a 21-year-old daughter too. She's just finishing college, so I have all girls. And the twins are pretty heavy into softball. And so is my oldest, but
good for you. Good for you. That's a good family, though. That's a good cross section of family. And I have a daughter too. We only had one kid, but I have a daughter too. And I can't imagine raising 4 daughters, but one of them kept me busy for 20 years, That was,
and I have 2 daughters, so we all have girls.
yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Listen, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No.
So I want to know what did you do with the 25 grand you won and then some?
I don't know. I still ain't seen it yet. I have the big check in the garage. Just about as far as I go with it. Now I bought another trailer. I bought a 35-foot Southern Dimension trailer, and that's going to pay for some of it. I already paid for most of it, but that was just a good finished payment, I guess you can say.
Yeah. Did you get to keep the big check? I
get the big check. Yeah. They could probably kept the little check if they wanted. I wanted the big check.
Well,
for that big check.
You got to have that. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back with Ercole Chila from Uncle Pig's Barbecue, who is the grand champion at this year's Jack. And the funny thing is, all 3 of us were there and didn't know it. Okay, we'll be right back. Don't go away. Yeah.
I did see Leanne there, though.
Yeah.
I tried to go around and see everybody. It's hard. Everyone's busy getting things done.
Okay.
I see you. We were on the hill.
Oh, the hill. Yes. The big party on the hill.
The big party.
We're about a Coke truck. We're about a Jack Coke truck. Yeah, that's where we were
there. There you go.
That's where I was at.
Okay, welcome back to Barbecue Nation. I'm JT along with Leanne Whippen. We are on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. If you want to just go to our website, which is bbqnationjt.com. There's a way to reach out to us there, or you can send us a message through the social media platforms, and that's all good. Today, we're very fortunate to have Ercole Chila with us from Uncle Pig's Barbecue, the grand champion at the Jack. How'd you get the name Uncle Pig's, by the way?
Well, I guess probably about 20 years ago, me and my wife were coming home from picking up some parts for at the time I worked for a gas station, a guy, we were coming home and my one of my brothers was in the backyard grilling and my other brother used to call him Uncle Pig. So as we got into the KCBS stuff, the same thing I told the guy for the news. You walk in my front door, you walk out the back door, you'd have a nickname. So his nickname was Uncle Pig. So uh, when we got to do our first KCBS competition, they said, yeah, I needed to get a name. So I'm like, what about Uncle Pig's Barbecue Pit? And it kind of stuck.
Yeah.
So that's what it came from. Yeah. It was kind of named after my brother.
It's a good
great.
name though. I really like it. It makes you smile when you say it. When you started, we'll get more back to the Jack results in a little bit here. But when you started, did you just start out in the backyard, or did you have a family tradition of barbecue and grilling in the backyard growing up?
When I started out, we started right out in pro. Um, so I had a cousin that was I have a cousin rather that was a judge, and he owned a restaurant. And I was just messing around with some ribs in the backyard, and he's like, "Hey, you ought to compete with that kind of stuff." I'm like, "Compete? What do you mean compete?" He's like, "We could do a barbecue competition." I'm like, "They have a barbecue competition?" So I went and found one, and he helped me. And well, needless to say, we did lousy. Competition world and backyard world is two different places.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
and that started it off. I mean, then the second one we did, we got like a second place chicken, a fourth place brisket. I'm like, oh, this is easy. I got this. I understand. I know what I got to do now. So we decided to find a third one. Well, that was in Delaware.
And that made me realize I really don't know nothing about this barbecue thing.
Yeah. Well, it kind of sneaks up on people, I think, Ercole. It really does. I tell the story on the show once in a while when I went to a contest here locally. Are you having trouble with your earphones?
Yeah, I'm trying. It's not really playing right now. I can hear without them.
Okay.
I'm looking
Anyway, I went to
for a visor.
kind of a local contest, and there was an older gentleman there with his grandson, and he had just a Weber kettle, and he had never been to one before. He just showed up with this Weber kettle in the back of his pickup, and he really didn't have anything prepped or anything like that. So he stopped me and asked if I could help him. And I said, well, the biggest help I could do is introduce you to a couple of these guys that are competing that I knew. I wasn't in any position right then with a group of people walking around with me to help him. But anyway, I don't know whatever happened to him, but I know those guys took good care of him and got him started down the right road. So that, you can always ask for help if you don't know what you're up against out there.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Okay, so let's get back to what you did there. Knife and brisket. When we call them civilians, listen to this show, they're not competitive barbecue people. They're just, backyard cooks and like to tailgate or whatever. Why don't you tell us your process of how you prep and then how you cook your brisket? Are you low and slow, hot and fast, somewhere in between? What's your process there?
Well, basically, I trim. I take out of my brisket's usually in the freezer. I usually get like 6 or 8 briskets a month when I'm doing competition. I'll take one out on like Monday. Monday night, I go get chicken, and by Tuesday, it's ready to be trimmed. I trim it down to small size. I really don't go with a crazy huge brisket. When we cook it, we're actually hot and fast on a drum. Um, just a typical, we make our au jus, we wrap it, and we cut it up and serve it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more you want me to get into detail. I could waste a whole hour on that.
Well, no, but but it's always interesting to people. It's like, how much do you trim off? How
Oh yeah, it's down. There's no fat on it.
no fat?
I go pretty naked on both sides.
And do you take, are you just using the flat or what are you?
Well, unfortunately, it seems like the judges don't like burnt ends anymore. You know, when I turn them in, they're usually pretty good, but you'll get 3 good ones and 3 bad ones. So I just leave it out of the box. I don't even bring it with me because I'm always tempted to cook it and always
Yeah.
tempted to turn it in. And this year I did it like 6 times and it was pretty much a 50-50 split. You know, we've won the category 3 times and came in 27th the other 3 with 3 bad scores.
Huh. Have you seen that, Leanne? We were talking about that
We've
yesterday.
talked about this. I told you why they're staying away from it. Burn ends are not the thing anymore. It's all sliced.
Yeah, it's all slices. The
Yeah.
burn-ins, as much as I want to turn them in, because I feel that they're good, I can't.
The judges are too wishy-washy on what their opinion of a burn end is, and it's not worth the risk.
You know, we had a judge one time come up to us and at a contest 3 or 4 years ago, and he asked if we had brisket, and he had brisket left there. We gave him some brisket in the burn in. He said, "Boy, that seems like it has a little bit of fat." And I'm like, "Well, a burn in is like 65-70% fat. It's going to have some fat in it." And it was like melt kind of fat, but he
Yeah.
didn't know how to eat it. He didn't know that it's like
Mm-hmm.
supposed to dissolve. You know, so I don't even take a chance doing it anymore.
I find that interesting. Not that you don't take the chance, that's smart. But you know, you can now buy burnt ends at the store pre-packed.
Really.
You
Oh,
know,
yummy.
yeah, yeah,
Sounds just like I want to eat them.
yeah. I wasn't gonna say anything more, but other than you can buy them, they're vacuum packed, and you just heat them up in the microwave, make them good and chewy, and do it that way. But I'm sorry, I don't understand why the judges wouldn't like them. I know you said they're wishy-washy, Leanne, and I'm not a judge, but I don't understand because to me, burnt
I'm
ends
not
are
saying
some of the
they
most.
don't like them. It's just that people have different opinions of what a definition of a burn end is. Some people expect it to be, and there is a true burn end. It's kind of crunchy and then
Right.
whatever. And then there's the ones that people are soaking in pans and it like is mushy in your mouth, that kind of thing. So it's as he said, it's not worth the risk.
Well, on that,
A
I
broad
like them.
scope.
So,
There's definitely a broad scope on how they're judged.
Mhm,
If there's not a
mhm.
certain criteria that's for everyone, then you really it's really hard to put them in it with comfort and confidence.
Mhm.
yeah, we're going to take another break. We're going to be back with Ercole Chila from Uncle Pig's Barbecue, grand champion at the Jack, right after this. Please stay with us.
I got a second. I'm not online, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Serena! My earphones ain't working again.
Oh, well, actually, we hear you better without them. We hear you
Yeah.
better without
Yeah,
them.
so if you
Okay.
want to keep them off, you can.
I can keep them off then. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Here we go. Welcome back to the nation. That's Barbecue Nation. Again, we'd like to thank the folks at Painted Hills Natural Beef, beef the way nature intended. As we used to say, beef just like your grandpa used to raise. I like that too. Don't forget, you can go to their website, enter the code BBQ Nation, and get 15% off your order. And then, lo and behold, we're going to talk about pig powder for just a second here. Trim Tab, Leanne's dad, developed pig powder more than a couple weeks ago. It won the coveted Best Rub on the Planet award. It's used by winning pitmasters, including Leanne and Ercole, for over 30 years, and it's available online at pigpowder.com. And Leanne's in charge of all that, so you will actually get something hand delivered to your house. She's not going to deliver it, but it will be delivered.
I have drones.
You have drones. Okay. Just go to pigpowder.com. It's good stuff. I have a few bottles sitting right over here, but I'm not sure I'm going to share those with anybody. I think I'm probably going to
And the
keep them.
holidays are coming up. Great stocking stuffer.
True. True. But I might get carried away. I know that's hard to believe with me, but I might get carried away and have to get some more from you. Anyway, we're talking with Ercole Chila from Uncle Pig's Barbecue in New Jersey. Ercole, I don't know if people actually think of New Jersey and barbecue.
Nope.
I mean, it's just, when you think barbecue, you think Tennessee or Missouri or Kansas or Texas or Georgia or someplace.
It's really funny. When we were at the Jack, we were next to chicken fried barbecue. I think Heavy Smoke and a couple of Texas teams were in line there, and some lady walked by. Oh my God, I'm from Texas. You're from New Jersey. You didn't got a chance, buddy. She tells me.
Oh
She
my
walks by.
God.
I'm like, ah, thank you, thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was
Showed
funny.
her,
I didn't
didn't
know.
she? Yeah. Well, we've had who is it? Ray Sheehan is from New Jersey too, I think.
Yep.
And Ray's, written books. He's competed. Now he's a restaurateur. We'll have him back on the show after the first of the year. And so, barbecue's growing, I think. Are there barbecue restaurants around where you live?
Not nothing. I had a restaurant for like 5 or 6 years, and then I owned a strip mall, and I had to sell the strip mall because the people that were renting from me weren't very um, on time with the rent.
I got it.
It was
Yeah.
either sell it or do something bad. So I just decided to sell it.
Oh,
And so that's why I closed that down. That was like we had that for like 6 years. So other than that, there's like your Mission Barbecue that nobody really goes to and stuff like that.
Hmm.
yeah. More little chains and
No chain deals. There's
yeah.
nobody. There's a couple I think places opening up, but I haven't been to them yet. There, one in maybe about a half hour away from my house, which we'll try. I mean, I have no problem trying them. We just
Yeah.
haven't got out there yet. Every weekend is a competition for me, and right now, actually, we since the Jack we did the Royal Oak Invitational, day one, day two in New Jersey, a double in Virginia this weekend just passed. We GC'd that one and third place finished the day two. So yeah, then I got one in North Carolina at Caratuck this weekend. So yeah, we're still at it.
You're
Yeah.
rolling. Yeah.
I know when I talked to you on the phone, you were laughing because you were like, well, I'm on my way to Virginia to do I was like, don't you take a break, man? No, we're on the road. We're doing it.
Yeah, a
What
lot of windshield time.
a lot of windshield time. What do you think besides your grand champion at the Jack, Ercole? What brings you the most joy out of doing this? Is it the competition side? Is it meeting the people? Is it uh getting away from your mechanic shop? I mean, what is it?
So for me, what's going on right now is some of the best things of it. I never would have met you. I really only would have known Leanne through TV. I wouldn't have met all the people that I met in the barbecue world that I would have meet. I mean, there's just so many people that are out there that are friends now. It's crazy. I mean,
Hmm.
it's unbelievable. And you never know who really you're talking to. You know, some of these people that barbecue could be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. I mean, they're just, it's a
That
big
is the
family.
truth. That is the truth. It is. Everybody's so you can't predict what they do in life.
No.
It's just, everybody has the love of barbecue in common, but yeah, all walks of life.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy cooking, the cooking aspect of it. Of course, you know, it's never been for money for me because you could win, I could win the next 50 contests and still be broke and still be behind as far
Hmm.
as money put in. It's definitely the thrill of getting calls and the chance of getting calls. It just I don't know, it's just all that and in one big ball is what does it for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. I know that um Leanne and I are working on a TV show together, and and I have another radio show. It's a golf show, and when I kind of started doing some research a few years ago and found out how many of like the pro golfers are very much into barbecue. A couple of them are into competing. They live in Georgia, like Stuart Sink. He's got his own barbecue team down there. I don't know if he does KCBS or what he does, but I know they've got a team. Him and the head pro at the club he belongs to, and to find that out, and these aren't people that are just going out to their Weber gas grill and throwing a steak on it. These are
Right.
people that are really getting into it, and it's really so spread out, as you were both saying, across every walk of life. That I find that very fascinating because that is very much a common ground. They don't care who you are. If you want to talk
Right.
barbecue with them, come on in.
Hmm.
Get that done. do you think that what you've turned in so far is absolutely your best work?
Um, no, I feel that there's still a little bit more um, finishing flavors that I have to master a little bit. Um, you know, and sometimes it's area as much as it is anything else. You know, you don't want to give something really sweet to this area, really, vinegary that area. So I kind of keep everything the same, and sometimes that helps, and sometimes it probably does a little bit of a damage to my scores. But I like to think that the finishing part of it is where I got to get as far as finishing dusts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why I think I need to be a little bit more stronger on that. Once I get to that point, hopefully it'll be better than it was in the past.
Well, I think personally, I'm super critical of the stuff that I cook and
Oh yeah,
barbecue
me
and
too.
grilled smoke. You're very critical of that. In fact, when Leanne was up here a few weeks ago and we were working on that show, we were in the kitchen one day before we went out to shoot another segment, and I made a comment to her, and she was kind of surprised that I said that because of how critical I was of my own work. But I've always been that way. It,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Mhm.
it wasn't just for this. It was like all my work I'm very critical of. I'm my worst own enemy sometimes, I think.
Well, that's not your enemy. That keeps you going. That
Yeah.
keeps you moving forward. I mean, if you lay still, you're going to get caught and passed. I mean, you just can't. For me, I don't like say necessarily change a lot of stuff, but I do tweak things. After a little bit of time, that if it doesn't really hit like I want, like this year towards the middle of the year, I was stuck in either a no call or bottom five. So and that's when right before the jack, the first like the last 6 8 weeks before the jack is when I said I have to change something. I have to change something to try to get this to be better. And after winning team of the year before, I kind of was like staying with it and staying with it. I'm like, well, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, so now it's time to change the channel. So, and that's we.
Yeah, you can't change it after one
No,
contest. It's
I stayed with it
yeah.
for a while, and so after like 6 8 weeks of not really doing, did okay. It wasn't like you want it to be. I just started to change things one meat at a time, and finally I got to the point where I'm like, okay, this is all this stuff right now, the way it's going, the way it's cooking, is good enough to win. So now we're gonna put it to test to a couple contests, and on day we did a contest in New Jersey, and on day one, I made a horrible mistake, and I used a tenderizer in
Mhm.
all my meats and let it go for way too long, and I just destroyed everything. I still came in 11th somehow. I don't know how, but the next day we scored a 708 and we reserved to Brad, but uh, and so I figured at that point I said this is the stuff we're going to go with the rest of the way, and that's where we were at, and that's where we did use it to jack. And I really start writing a lot of things down in my book because sometimes you make changes and don't even know you're making changes. You're like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
why did I stop doing that? It's just crazy.
Do you
Mhm.
go back and reference your book and your
Oh yeah.
notes and say that worked really well there, then it didn't work, but now it seems to be working again, or I did X, Y, and Z to that, and now it's getting close to where I want it.
Right. So every contest for me has a page. Like the
Mhm.
Jack has its own page. The New Jersey Day One has its own page. The Virginia Galax, they all have its own page, and it's what I've done and what was successful and what not wasn't successful. And I reference it all the time.
That's good. That's better than I do it. I just try to do stuff off the top of my head, and usually
I
my
can't remember
head's
my name sometimes.
yeah. I was gonna say, as you get older, that
I
happens.
have a lot of those pages, Jeff, but the problem is you can't understand the writing.
So
But I have the pages.
I was the
And
same way. I'm like, what the hell was I writing right there?
yeah, I do. And then I'd run out of paper, end of the paper, and I'd go up the side. I'm like, was that for the ribs or was that for the chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah, I start off really good, and I put the name of the contest and the date, and the brand of meats that I used, and da da da. And then as it goes on, it gets messier and messier, and
That's
then
your
it goes
message. Yep.
sideways. it around.
Looks like it's written in Swahili or something.
I've
You know?
kept
Yep,
all
that's
of
it.
them. I have all of them.
So I definitely either before I start making my injections or after I'm done, I write everything out slowly because I was like that. I would write so fast, and I'm like, I'll remember that. And the other day, a couple months ago, I'm like, what the hell did I write there? Was I mad at someone?
Yeah.
I don't understand what I wrote.
Yeah. Yeah. That's me every day, unfortunately. We're going to take another break. We're going to be back with Ercole Chila from Uncle Pig's Barbecue in New Jersey, the grand champion at the Jack this year. And got more fun stuff to talk about. So please stay with us. Welcome back to Barbecue Nation on USA Radio Networks and all the podcast platforms you could possibly dream of. I'm JT, along with Hall of Famer Ms. Leanne Whippen. We've got Ercole Chila with us today from Uncle Pig's Barbecue in New Jersey. What part of Jersey do you live in?
It's South Jersey.
South Jersey?
Actually, you can see from my house, I can see the Philadelphia airport. It's like it's my house, a road, then the river, then the airport.
Wow. So are you a Steelers fan or are you a Jets fan or what are you?
I'm as far as Miami, as far as barbecue goes in New Jersey, I'm a Miami Dolphins fan.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
So a completely different thing.
I
Well,
got it.
they're doing pretty good.
Well, yeah, you know, you got Leanne's living in Florida, so she's got the Bucks, which are in her backyard.
Yeah, but I'm a Giants fan.
You're a Giants fan, and when they're
I
Giants,
know, you can laugh.
yeah, when they take it on the chin, I got to tell you, I text her and say your Giants look like crap today. You know,
Yeah.
I don't get a good response, though. I'll tell
No,
you that.
no.
You know, it's like that. Where do you think you go from here, Ercole? I mean, you won the Jack. You were team
Are
of
you
the
still
year.
yeah, are you chasing team of the year every year? Is that like a thing for you?
No, I mean, so at the beginning of last year, when we were finishing off last year, just like I was in the middle of this year, I said, you know what? And I told the guy I was, that cooks with me, I'm like, I think we're gonna be able to make a run for team of the year next year. He goes, you think? I'm like, that's all it takes is a 1 or 2 wins in the beginning, and then we know where we're at, and we'll just run with it, see what happens. And
Mhm.
sure enough, it started, we started winning a lot. And so this year we started off at Lakeland. We won Lakeland. I'm like, oh well, I mean, I
Are
didn't
you going to
wasn't
be at Lakeland this year?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah, I'm
Defending.
probably
I
going to
gotta
be down there.
defend. So yeah, maybe I'll see you there.
Yeah.
My so yeah, so I don't plan on it. When you ever anybody says they want to run for team of the year, you really can't say that because you don't even know if you're going to win. So if you don't win a little bit in the beginning, you're just wasting money
Yeah.
to
Right.
go for
Yeah.
team of the year to run that hard. But we're going to try to try to put some wins together in the beginning. So we put some miles on that new trailer.
There you go. There you go. Do you still have a catering company too?
Yeah, we still do that also. My wife does that for us.
I was going to say, how do you travel every weekend and cater?
It's so
Yeah, your wife does it.
so
She has to help support your habit too.
she's like my pusher.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, we've all had experience in catering, and it can be very fruitful, and it can also be very frustrating. Was my experience with it. I had a catering company for about 6 years, and always enjoyed it. Meaning, most of the time I enjoyed it. Let me clarify that. And most of the time I met some really great people. There were a few, and I have them in my book back here, right under my desk. Is there anything you'd like to do in barbecue that you really haven't done yet? And I don't mean just winning the Jack, but is there an event or someplace you'd like to bring barbecue to that would mean something to you?
Unfortunately for the American Royal and me, we had a disagreement 2 years ago. I would have liked to went back there, but I probably never will. I mean, because I'm waiting for two things. I'm waiting for my dessert tray to get back to me or an apology for how they handled it. And I don't think I'm gonna get either one. So I feel that I'm missing that part of the barbecue in my life. not for winning it, just for actually being there, because it was nice to be there. But you know, that's that. Like I said, I don't know if that's ever going to happen again. As much as I would like it to happen, I don't think it's going to happen again.
Somebody walked off with your dessert tray.
Well, yeah. So my brother, before he passed away, made me the dessert tray. He was only 49. He had tongue cancer. So we turned the dessert in. I went to go get my tray. They told me I can't get it till after awards. I went to get it after the awards, and it was missing. Now he said, "Well, maybe it got thrown away." I said, "For all due respect, sir, them plastic ones on the table I could see being thrown away. This was made of wood. It had glass cups, metal spoons. It didn't get thrown away." I said, "Is it possible that you can actually put this picture of this on your jumbotron to say that it's missing? And I don't care how it shows up, where it shows up. Because what we can't do that. You're accusing somebody of stealing." I'm like, "Forget it. You can keep it. I'm not even going crazy with this anymore." And we had a couple exchanges of words, and said I won't be back no more. And so I haven't been back.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's
And then this year they had a whirlwind of dessert trays being stolen, from what I understand.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I will say I noticed at the Jack that the trays were specifically designed for the specific dessert they were making,
Yes.
and also specifically for the Jack. And you could tell that so much thought and time went into just the vessel to deliver their
Yes.
dessert that it should be taken more seriously.
So ours was a barrel head that has a Jack Daniels distillery on it. Or Jack Daniels, old number 7 on it rather, and it has 8 cup holders, and we made the cup holders and then into the cup didn't move out of there. Then we had little hole holders where the drink went to. It was just the shot glass went to. It was just a lot. And that was something different. We got that one back, but the one in American World had a lot more meaning to me than that one. But
I'm sure it did if it was made by your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It
I
is.
always hate to hear stories like that, especially when
And I tried everything I could to get him to help a little bit. And they might have tried a little bit. They said they would help me look for it, but it really wasn't a good effort, you know. For
Well,
as
what
much
the
as I
hell are
could.
you going to do? Go through everybody's trailer? I mean,
Well, they could have like I said, if they could have just posted a picture
yeah,
on
Right.
day 2 awards. That's all I asked them to do. I mean, after that, if nobody had conscience enough to give it back, that's not their fault. But when they said they wouldn't post a picture, I'm like, okay, that just tells me you don't care about what's going on right here.
well, that's
Wow.
unfortunate.
But that was then. This is now. We're all
Yeah.
That's correct.
comfortable
That's
with it.
correct.
I like your attitude a lot, Ercole. I really do. I mean, you're like on to the next thing. And that's refreshing, really. Very much so, at least for me, because, I'm Mr. Smiley all the time. And watch Leanne laugh, bend
But
over.
deep down inside.
Yeah. There's something going on in there. I'm not sure what it is. If Leanne gave you an all expense paid trip to anywhere in the world to work with anybody you wanted to, as far as cooking or barbecue, who would it be?
I mean, just including herself.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to be with the barbecue pit masters from the early days. They were the good days to watch. They were the good days to listen. I mean, we ran home from work to make sure we didn't miss it. I mean, we wanted to either tape it or watch it. I'd like to be with that crew, wherever you guys would be.
It really was amazing.
Yes, with you.
I mean, I still look back on it,
Johnny.
and yeah, I mean, just seeing Johnny at the Jack, it just brings back so many memories. It really was an incredible experience. Yeah.
I've tried multiple times here to have a TV crew do something similar. We have a couple. We had a whole production unit at my house during a practice cook to try to do some reels and try to get somebody to buy it for a show similar to what barbecue pit masters were. We're still waiting on that, but that whole thing was really awesome. When you competed against each other, not the later shows when you did that whole here's a thing, go cook it thing. I liked it when it was
that's different. That was
amongst each other.
different.
Yes, they were the good shows.
Yep, they were. There's something to be said about what's the expression? Old age and treachery will outdo youth and enthusiasm every time. So I'm the old age guy here, so don't
I was
worry
gonna
about
say
that.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Anyway, Ercole, how can people find you? Do you have Facebook or a website
Facebook,
or?
we have Twitter, Instagram, um, Snapchat. I think these are all the things my daughter does for me, my wife does for me, because I don't I'm not one up to that up the to the technical standards. As you can see, we're trying to get where we're at today. Running around the house with this daggone laptop.
Perfect
You
example.
did
Perfect
great.
example. But if
Yeah.
there's questions or anybody wants to reach out to me, they'll tell me and we'll answer it, and we'll figure out how we have to get together or whatever you want to do.
You got it. Ercole
Hey,
Chila.
I got one more question before we
Yeah.
leave. Are you going to teach any classes?
So we have we had a class last year, and we had 30 people in it, and the people that were in the class did very well this year. They whipped me many times. So we're going to have another class coming up probably. I'm going to say either in January, or so we do two things. We do a practice cook for like 8 or 9 teams that I decide who. We have actually a waiting list to get on this, believe it or not, because we have like the real judges and everybody from all the contests come. So we have only space for like 9 or 10 teams. So there's I try to like flip flop the teams around to get other teams in here. But we're going to do that right before Urbana. So I got to try to space them out right so you can come to the class and then go to the practice cook, then go to Urbana. So I just got to get them dates coming. But we're going to do another class, yeah.
Well, good for
Oh,
you.
yeah, that's
So,
great.
Ercole, you're going to stick around for after hours. That's going to wrap it up for the regular radio show. We thank you. Ercole Chila from Uncle Pig's Barbecue Grand Champion at the Jack. Good guy. Someday I'm going to get to try some of your barbecue. I promise.
Well, if I knew you were at the Jack,
Yeah,
we have
yeah,
next
yeah.
year.
I was kind of
Next
undercover there.
year.
Yeah.
Next year, I'm sure you'll be there.
Yeah, well, probably will be. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Have a good week. Thank you, Leanne. And remember our motto here,
you.
turn it, don't burn it. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, now.
Don't sign off yet. Don't you try to get out of this so
No,
easy.
I
You
won't.
got about
No.
another 10, 15 minutes.
I'm good.
All right.
I have no rush.
Mhm.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to After Hours here on Barbecue Nation. Ms. Whippen and myself are very pleased to have Ercole Chila with us today from Uncle Pig's Barbecue in New Jersey, South Jersey. He can throw a rock and hit Philadelphia. That's how far south he is. But he's going to now suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous lightning round questions here in After Hours. So, first of all, thank you for sticking around for this. So,
Anytime. My
okay.
pleasure. I think it's my pleasure. We'll find out in a few
We'll
minutes.
find out
I was
soon.
going to say reserve that until the end. No, it's
We-
not that bad.
We will start with an easy one. If you could cook for and then dine with a historical figure, who would it be and what would be on the menu?
Historical figure in barbecue.
Anything,
No, it could,
history.
anything.
I mean,
it could,
I'd
it could
like
be
to-
Abe
I'd like to-
Lincoln.
I'd like to cook for Tuffy Stone and have brisket with him. I think that'd be
Oh, cool.
There you go. Have you ever come
He's high on my
across?
list.
I understand. Have you ever come across a food item that you just could not master cooking it?
Well, yes. 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago in Roswell, Georgia, at the Oral Oak Invitational, they gave us a brisket to cook that was so lean that I really didn't know what to do with it. I cooked it, but man, it was horrible.
How'd you come out on that?
We finished 23rd, I think,
Yeah.
out of 30 something. Yeah, it was bad. All the proteins were not very good
Got
for
it.
us.
Mm.
We had an
Got it.
unfortunate bag.
What's the worst thing you've ever eaten?
Oof. Probably tripe.
Yeah.
that's
That
nasty.
ranks up there. Yeah.
Bad memory.
Name something that you were really hot on for a while. This has to do with barbecue. And then you changed your mind.
I'm gonna say butcher's honey until they change the grind on me.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. What do you think is the best food show on television?
I really like Chopped.
Yeah, that's a good show.
That's a good show.
It kind of
Um,
you put yourself in that position. It's like, what would I do if that was me?
yeah,
It's, you know,
yeah.
I feel your pain.
yeah,
Yes, she
You
does.
get chopped
Yes.
is what you
You-
do.
you was
Yeah.
on that show. You were on that show, right? Were you? I did not remember that. That's that. I do now. Now you say that, I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
If you could teach a politician to barbecue, who would it be, and what would you teach him?
Oh God, I would say Donald Trump. Maybe I'd teach him to do brisket.
There you go. He'd probably eat it. Okay. What
I'd
is
teach him how to light the charcoal.
He definitely can light some stuff up. I know that.
Yeah, he can. Yeah. So far, what has been your absolute best day in your life?
Oh, that's probably the day my kids were born.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good answer, and we get that a lot, but I agree with you 100%.
Now, if you're
Um,
changing to barbecue, I would say probably the Jack.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
If you could erase one mistake from history, it can be your history, it can be world history. What would it be, and why would you want it erased?
Let me see. One day. Probably. You know what? I can't even say that. That's a tough question.
We can come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get back to that one.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if Leanne declared you supreme ruler of barbecue for a day, what would you, as supreme ruler, decree?
That as I will rule over KCBS, that'd be one of the things I would rule over, and
Yeah.
have the judges be accountable for some of the scores they put down on paper. That's
There
Mhm.
you go.
not
Yeah,
not
I'm-
necessarily in trouble, but have a reasoning for it.
I don't disagree with that.
Leanne gets tired of hearing this, I'm sure, but I came out of the horse world. I spent a good portion of my life competing in the horse world.
Okay.
And I was a judge till just a few years ago when I stopped doing it. But when we went to school and we had to go to continuing education, it seemed like I was going every year for one of the licenses. I had several. One of the things you had to do was kind of like you would defend your master's thesis in college. You had to stand up in front of everybody and say why you picked this particular horse for first place, this one for second, third, so on. But you had to defend that. Now, truthfully, there was no wrong answers because it's just your opinion.
Mhm.
But you did have to share your opinion on why you did that. And that's the one thing, since I've been doing this show and got to know Leanne really well and a lot of the competitive barbecue guys, that always kind of makes me scratch my head because we were so much, and in any professional sport, if you will, there's accountability from the officiating. There has to be. And I don't understand that in the barbecue. I know they want blind judging and all that stuff, but still it makes sense to me to say, Leanne and I gave you 10s. Some other guy gives you a 2. Now, wait a minute. Why is he giving you a 2? I'm just making stuff up here, but you see the relevance. Why
So
is he doing that?
How I think I should work. I think it should work like they should give the table captain the authority to say, hey, everybody on this table just gave this guy 9 for appearance, and you gave him a 7. Now, your taste and your tenderness could be different than mine, but everybody's eyes comes and works the same. So you need to tell this person why you gave him a 7. I mean, and it's basically, for me, it's just the appearance part, because you do have a different palate than me. You may not think that's too tender. You may think it's too tender. You may think it's too salty. You may think it's not. So them scores are your opinion. But when you go to appearance, that's a visual thing that everybody's eyes look at. So when you don't do that part of that right, that means the rest of your scores are probably not going to be good either.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel.
When we
Mhm.
judged this one division, reining horses, if there was a penalty incurred when the horse was performing, you marked the penalty or your scribe did. But if Leanne scored somebody a 70 and Ercole, you scored somebody a 70 and I scored him a 76, that was way out of the range. And so the master stewards and judges would come to you and say, why did you do this?
See, I think that should happen.
Yeah. So anyway,
Especially
okay.
if they're not given a comment card, you should definitely, because I'm a firm believer in comment cards, especially if you don't like something. So if you don't give someone a comment card and you're throwing a 7 around or 6s, not that I receive a lot of that, but we've received 7s in the past. If you don't tell me why you're unhappy about that 7, chances are you're going to get the same crappy barbecue you got the week before because I don't know what to change. So if you want to make your palate feel better, then tell me why it wasn't good, and then maybe we'll fix it.
Yeah.
But I think the table captain should have all the right to say, hey, you need to write a comment card for this. Yeah,
I think
because
that's the
we're way
way
out
to
of line with
start it.
everybody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts there, Leanne?
Well, I agree. And, it is the table captain's responsibility to look at the scores. And if something is way off or skewed, it is supposed to be brought to the attention of whoever's overseeing the whole contest. So there are a few things that the captains do have, can bring up.
But see, I
But when you're
definitely don't
talking
think that-
about straight 9s like that and a 7 gets thrown in, they aren't going to do anything about it because a 7's going to be dropped anyway. I think that's just, it's not going to affect the cooker, but you personally, I know it does affect you. And yeah, I agree. But there's also things happen pretty quickly. So I don't know how many comments, if it happens a lot, I just don't know how it could get done properly on time without stalling turn-ins and all that. But I agree with you. There should be more accountability for the judges that are scoring out of line, we'll say.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember what the first thing was that you got in trouble for as a kid?
Let me see. I think I got in trouble for trying to put a screwdriver in the light socket.
Oh.
I think, yeah, they gave me a little toolkit when I forget how old it was, and I was trying to unscrew the cover, and I thought to myself, I remember like it was yesterday, I was like, oh, what if I put it inside here? What's going to happen? And thank God the mom called me before I did it.
Yeah, I'll say, wow.
Yeah. Well, what's your least favorite activity in the world?
My least favorite activity is probably something you said earlier, golf, because I ain't no good at it.
Oh, well, there's very few that are. So that's okay.
If you said you want to be in my golf show, I'm like, if you need a caddy, I could do it for you. That's about it.
Do you remember?
I'm pretty athletic to do things. I cannot get that golf game. Well, I don't play enough either, but
yeah, that's
okay. Do you remember the worst concert you ever went to, if you went to them?
I never went to a concert. I'm not really into the real loud music.
Okay, that's fair. If you were an animal, what animal would you be and why, Ercole?
Well, I think I'd be a lion. I am a Leo, so I feel that you want to try to dominate. So that's what I want to be. I'd want to be the king.
Yeah, big mane, the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right. If you could instantly become a master of a musical instrument, which instrument would it be?
That's easy. I really like to play the guitar. I really would like to play. I mean, so when I was young and they had the band in the school, and I'm like, the guys are so weirdos. I ain't worried about it. Now I look at them today, I'm like, man, that is crazy. They're making music with their fingers. And it's just crazy how I wish I could do that today.
Okay, here's one that will, if Sarah is right outside, she'll probably get in trouble for this. But what is something that Sarah was right about, but you still think she's wrong about?
Oh, so it's we have discussions about, believe it or not, barbecue all the time. She'll come in and she'll say something about like, all right, so I'll give you for example. She said the Jack chicken, not that she likes a lot of barbecue anyhow. She said it was the best chicken she's ever had from us, period. And I said, we just got the kiss of death. Sarah liked the chicken. When she doesn't like something, we win first place with it 90% of the
Wow.
time. So she said the chicken was great. We finished 58th. So we argue about what I turn in all the time. You let it go, let the box go, let the box go, let the box go. I'm like, no, I'm not in the box. I gotta finish it. And so yeah, there's other
That's
things I'm
funny.
sure if I can think, give me a long enough time to think about it.
Yeah,
but
no,
that's
I
We
good.
get along
That's
pretty good.
good.
We've been together for a long time.
that's good.
It
That's good.
is.
Little off the subject here, but what's the biggest change that you think should be made in food advertising? I mean, when you go get a Big Mac, it doesn't look like it does on TV.
Well, they should put a thing. This is not the actual size.
Yeah,
Because when you get it, it's like on a Hawaiian roll and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Everything's so small.
Okay. Would you describe yourself as corn-fed or grass-fed?
I'm going to say grass fed. I don't know
Okay.
why I would say that, but
That's what you think.
But
That's
you
fine.
did.
it sounds good. It sounds like I was grass fed.
Sounded great. Great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, here's a fun one for you. Boxers, briefs, or thongs?
Briefs.
There
Tidy
we go.
white guy.
Okay. Okay. What's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning?
Open my eyes.
Yeah, good.
There you go.
There you go.
We've had one person, we won't say that person's name, but one person that jumped up and said, well, you mean after I get up and pee? Yeah, okay. Do you have a favorite classic movie? Mine is Casablanca. I don't know what Leanne's is, honestly.
Christmas Story.
Oh, Christmas Story. Okay.
No, my favorite movie of like that. My favorite movie is Amadeus. I love that movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how classic it is, only because it's not super old, but it's getting there. Crimson Tide was one of my all-time
Oh.
favorite movies. I mean,
Oh,
I
that's a-
think Denzel Washington's a great actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you
Mhm.
seen the latest installment of The Equalizer?
No, I can't wait.
Okay, you should
Can't
see
wait.
it. We saw it, and
I
it's
love
really
I love that too. I watch it all the time.
Yeah,
Boy,
it's a
how
good
can you
show.
watch the same movie over and over again? You know what's going to happen. I'm like, I don't care. I like it.
I'm kind of one of those guys where I like it when the good guy wins. You know what
Yeah,
I
me
mean?
too. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Um, do you think that cooking can help kids who are having trouble learning math? Meaning, like, because we use quarter cups and teaspoons and quarts and all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff.
maybe not the fraction, maybe the fraction part of it, but I think if you cook a lot or it keeps you focused on things, maybe it can help you focus better on your math. Yeah, I would think
Yeah.
so.
There you go. What's one thing you miss about your 20s?
Good knees.
Hmm,
Yeah,
That's a good answer.
I'm
Good
with you,
knees.
brother. I'm with you on
Good
that.
knees.
Yeah, God Almighty. Leanne's seen me limp around enough to know that that's right on the top of my deal.
Mhm.
Name one book that should be mandatory reading for everyone.
The Bible.
Okay, good. Now, last question. What would your last meal be if you were on death row?
If my mother was around to still make it, it would be spaghetti and chicken cutlets and her salad. If she was still around to make it, that would be my last meal.
Oh, excellent. Ercole, you've been a really good sport
Yeah,
with this.
fantastic.
Thank you.
And I love your answers, man. They're just right there. So
Well, we're going to be watching you on the road.
Well, thank you.
yeah, we are.
We'll
Good
be out
luck
there this
to
weekend.
you.
Well, I'll be out
Yeah.
there this weekend by myself. I
Oh,
don't have nobody helping me this weekend, so we're gonna wing it by ourselves this weekend. We've done that 10
I
times.
meant to I meant to
can
ask
do
you
it.
this in the regular show. Do you do the holiday cooking of the turkey or the prime rib roast or that?
So I do the turkey. So this is one of the other things me and my wife argue about. So
Mhm.
I have a Southern Pride smoker in my garage. My garage is like another house. It's got heat, air, polished floor, sheetrock wall, everything. It's just like another house. So when I say it's in my garage, it's not like in some beat up where cars
Yeah.
are sitting next to it.
Right.
It's in my garage. I told her, I said, listen, I'll make a turkey this year. This was last year. So I'm gonna make a turkey this year. I'm gonna use the smoker. I don't want smoked turkey. I'm like, I'm not, it's only smoke if I put wood in it. It's not. It's Southern Pride is a giant oven. I can use it as a regular oven. No, no, no. I'm like, well, you make yours and I'll make mine. So we kind of had a competition with that. And of course, the Southern Pride one won.
Yeah.
So we started doing a couple turkeys for people during the course of the year. But yeah, I'll make the turkey this year.
Cool.
Good.
Good for you. Good for you. Ercole Chila from Uncle Pig's Barbecue in New Jersey, the reigning world champion at the Jack, and it's been a real pleasure to talk to you.
In
Buddy.
here.
It has.
I really
Thank you
enjoy
very
it.
much.
All right.
I love this too.
That's going to wrap it up for After Hours. We'll be back next week with another edition. And remember our motto, turn it, don't burn it. So go out there, take care, and have fun, everybody.